welcome back to Insights with Nanda. Thank you for making this channel a success. In the short time that we have been live, we have now over 1,500 subscribers. So please do spread the word. Please do share any videos that you like. Please do subscribe. Please comment. And please tell us what other subjects you would like to hear about. If I can speak to the subject, I will. If I cannot, I'll find experts who can add value on that particular topic. So look forward to hearing from you. Do subscribe, do like, do comment. Today, we're going to talk about managing stress. And I remember going back in my younger days, working at jobs. There were a lot of sources of stress. Sometimes business results, targets can be a source of stress. Office politics can be a source of stress. Uncertainty, you don't know what's going to happen with your career, with your promotion, with the environment, with a crisis happening in the environment. All of these can be sources of stress, and it's very real. It's very real. It can affect your health. I frequently had sleepless nights because of high stress levels, and it can even tell on your relationships and family life. So how do you deal with stress? And actually, dealing with stress is a very important part of managing your career as a long-term marathon, not as a sprint, but as a long-term marathon, because you have to stay the course for a long period of time consistently to be successful. So the first thing is to understand what happens when you get stressed. And sources of stress may be things you can control or things you cannot control, and we'll talk about both of them. And so what happens? The first thing is, it's hormonal. The body starts to produce cortisol, adrenaline, and there's a natural fight or flee response. So stress actually was designed by nature as a very short-term beneficial thing for humans to very quickly recognize the danger, assess the danger, and then decide, should you fight the danger, confront it, move forward, deal with it, or should you retreat and run away, fight or flee? Now, this is actually very good taken in moderate doses. What tends to happen with a lot of us is that this stress can go on for a long period of time. And like the old story about carrying a glass of water, if you carry it for 5 minutes, it's not heavy. If you carry it all day long, even a glass of water can feel like it weighs a ton. So prolonged stress over a long period of time can indeed lead to harmful health effects, harmful relationship, actually lead to burnout, and which kind of holds back both health and career in anybody's case. So, how do you deal with it? The first thing is to deal with it, to understand the hormonal stuff that happens, and some of this hormonal impact, can even be to constrict the blood vessels and reduce the amount of blood flow, and that can create headaches and stuff like that. So, to understand that, you need to understand the hormones that actually lead to positive moods and improvement in the overall outlook. One of the first things to be aware of is endorphins. Endorphins, which are natural painkillers, are what the body produces after exercise, and they actually already work off your stress. People say if you go for a long run, you actually feel less stressed, or a long brisk walk, you actually feel less stressed at the end of the long brisk walk. So a habit of regular exercise triggers these endorphins, which actually help elevate your mood and also contribute, together with other activities like meditation, etc., also contribute to improve the levels of serotonin. There's also a dietary role. There are foods that are rich in serotonin, and you can Google this and figure out what those foods are. So both are hormones that help you feel good about yourself and counteract some of the negative aspects of stress. So short, build a regular exercise habit to counter stress. Build a regular meditation habit to counter stress. Next thing, the role of another hormone, oxytocin. Now, oxytocin, also called the cuddle hormone or the love hormone, is the hormone that gets released when you're in close proximity with loved ones, family, friends, and so on. And I think back to my own career, and when the kids were young, particularly, coming back home and spending time with them, playing with them, silly games, this was an enormous de-stressor. For all the reasons that I mentioned earlier, uncertainty, politics, business results, stress is a part of life. But the more you actually have these close relationships, the oxytocin levels rise, you start feeling good, the blood vessels unconstrict, they open up, there's better blood flow. So actually, you can manage first at a hormonal level to understand and actually build activities into your life that trigger those positive hormones, endorphin, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, and so on. So exercise, meditation, regularity of habits, and close relationships and networks, support groups, all very, very important in dealing with stress. There's a scientific basis why that's the case. The next thing, and it's very interesting looking, there's a very nice TED talk by this lady called Kelly McGonigal on stress, and you can go on YouTube and have a look at it. And very interestingly, what she says in that video is based on research. What they have found is one of the very interesting things about stress is you can react as a body physically, mentally, negatively to stress, or you can react positively to stress. And what drives the difference is how you perceive stress. What is your attitude towards stress? Do you see stress as something that you can deal with and use to do actually better, do better and improve your performance? Or do you see it as something saying, oh my God, it's so stress, there's so much stress, what do I do? This is two different approaches, and turns out that the positive attitude has a lot to do with taking stress and making it work for you. My mind goes back to a conversation once I had with one of my bosses in Indonesia, and I was sitting and talking to him, and I was complaining about stress. He said, how are you, Nandu? I said, oh, a lot of stress, susapa, stress, problem, sir, stress. And he looked at me and smiled and said, but Nandu, I've looked at you, and I think you're the one of the few people who actually thrives on stress. So I thought about it. And he did have a point. Some of my best performances, strangely enough, came under periods of immense stress. So somehow that seemed to be good in my life. So the important thing here is to remember what we started off with, control and areas you can't control, is to focus on areas that you can control and then see what you can do about the events that are causing you stress. And those stuff that you cannot control, you just park that to one side and try not to worry about it and focus on what you can control and do something about. An important insight at this point of time is on this whole area of problems and luck in the context of managing stress. And I know at times, we frequently say, she was so lucky, he was so lucky, I was unlucky, this thing happened. It's common. We all do it. I've done it plenty of times. I've complained about my luck. And we all think that the other people are luckier than we are. And frequently when things go bad, you say, God, why me? What did I do wrong? I frequently have these conversations with the big guy. He doesn't always respond, but that's part of the way we are built up. Now, it's difficult to say about luck at an individual level, but when Jim Collins did some research to investigate the role of luck in companies' performance. Now, for companies, they have to report all events in their annual report. So if your factory burns down, it's a bad luck event, you have to report it in your annual report. If suddenly your sales go up because the competitor's factory burns down, so he had bad luck, you had good luck, you have to report that in your annual report. So by studying the annual reports of all companies in an industry, you can actually get a very good idea of the luck of companies. And what you found very interestingly was over a 20-year period, all of these companies have the same number of good luck events and the same number of bad luck events in their company lives. What then makes the difference between great companies and also ran companies? It's not the number of good luck events or bad luck events you had. It's what you do when the good luck event happened. What did you do when the bad luck event happened? Had you built in advance the capability to respond to the good luck event by maximizing performance, or to respond to the bad luck event by recovering soon? The same, I would like to take the parallel into us as people. And I would like to posit that all people have roughly the same number of good luck events and bad luck events in their lives. Unless you have really bad karma, in which case all bets are off. But if you have more or less the same amount of luck events, then we should stop complaining about luck. And instead, we should start asking the question, how can I prepare for luck? How can I prepare my capabilities to maximize the good luck events and to minimize the bad luck events' impact on my life when it happens? And this boils down to preparedness, as it does for companies, building the capabilities. What kind of capabilities? We already talked about that. Exercise, meditation, having a good support group in your life, building some financial cushions so you kind of take off the financial stress to the extent you can, build up some savings that allow you to survive the short run. Build up a diverse interest, and we talked about this in one of our earlier videos on career changes and looking for jobs and so on. So you are always out there and you are at the forefront of thinking of what's coming at you in front of the world. And the most important habit that we need to build, capability that we need to build, is from the work of Kelly McGonigal, which is build a positive attitude in the way you approach life, career, and stress. When I look back on my career now, and I'm now 40 years into my career, and have reinvented my career from business executive to a board director and a professor and so on. What I find very interesting, over 40 years I've had many ups and downs in my career. What is very interesting and fascinating is this. Over time, I have discovered that the roots of my biggest successes were almost invariably in my biggest failures. Now, this goes into a little bit philosophy, but if I hadn't had that failure, and if I hadn't taken the learnings from the failure to say, now how can I make this the best thing that ever happened to me, I would not have had those biggest successes. So in a sense, life gives you problems, and every problem is an opportunity to improve yourself, to actually do things differently. And it's by doing things differently that you can get exponential returns and outsized returns. So at a philosophical level, every problem comes to you bearing a gift. And until you actually take that gift and embrace it and run with it, those problems will keep reoccurring in your life. So take every problem as an opportunity. Yes, it comes with short-term threats that you have to deal with. And then you say, Now this has happened. Why did it happen? What are my strengths? What do I have in my control to respond to it, to learn from it, to act on it, so that that problem doesn't happen again? And that I actually, because I'm now leveraging my strengths in a new way, I actually create new opportunities for myself and for my business, for my company, for my team, and so on. So stress doesn't have to be negative for you. Stress can be positive too. But it takes preparation, it takes discipline, preparation before to build a healthy lifestyle, and most important, the attitude to look upon problems as learning opportunities. So don't only look at it as, do I have to move ahead or do I have to retreat? Look upon every problem as a learning opportunity from where you take learnings and then you create new opportunities for yourself. If you do that, chances are not only will you manage stress better, you will actually make stress work for you in building your career and in succeeding throughout life. I hope you found this little nugget useful. Please do Google on this, please do watch YouTube videos on this, and share your comments with me, share your personal experiences with me. So like, subscribe, comment, and please share widely with your teams, your friends, and your colleagues. Thank you for watching.